This test execution report is quite scary. So many things, so much weird stuff, and it's kind of like hard to figure out what's going on, right? No worries. Before we get deeper into this test execution report, let's go over some more general concepts you need to know. First of all, what is a VU? Imagine you own a shop. Each person entering the shop to buy something is like a user visiting your website. Now imagine if instead of one person, 100 people come in at the same time. Your shop might become crowded, right? In the world of performance testing, K6 is like a tool that can send many people, let's call them users, to your shop at the same time to see if it can handle the crowd. These imaginary people is what we call virtual users or VUs. They are not real users, they're not real people. This is why we call them virtual users. It is like sending robots to visit your store or something like that. You get the idea. Let's talk about the requests for a second. Imagine every time a person in your shop asks for an item, they are making a request to the shopkeeper. Similarly, when you visit a website and click on something like a picture or a video, your computer is asking, or to be technically correct, is requesting that item from the website's server. So, in simple words, a request is like asking for something on the internet. When you open a website, many requests are made to show all the pictures, text, and other things on that page. Remember, every time you click, view, or interact with something online, there's probably a request happening behind the scenes. When you ask the shopkeeper for an item, it takes some time for them to give it to you, right? The faster they give it, the happier you are. If they take too long, you might get impatient. On the internet, latency is like the waiting time between asking for something, making a request, and getting it. If a website has low latency, it means it's quick in responding to your requests. If it has high latency, it means it is slow, and you might have to wait longer to see pictures, videos, or other content. In performance testing, we measure latency to see how fast or slow a website responds. The aim is always to have as low latency as possible so users are happy and not waiting too long. You can remember it like this. Latency is like the time between ordering a pizza and it arriving at your door. Shorter, the better, and hopefully also yummier. In K6, latency is shown by the HTTP request duration metric. Imagine if the shopkeeper can serve 100 customers every hour. That number, 100 customers per hour, shows how much work the shopkeeper can do in that time. In the world of websites and performance testing, this concept is what we call throughput. On the internet, throughput refers to how many requests a website can handle in a specific amount of time. If a website has high throughput, it means it can serve many users or requests quickly. If it has low throughput, it might struggle when many users visit at the same time. In performance testing, we look at throughput to understand a website's capacity. It is like counting how many customers our shopkeeper can happily serve without getting too overwhelmed or tired. In K6, throughput isn't given directly as a metric like throughput, but we can infer it based on other data K6 provides. More on that later. Imagine you ask the shopkeeper to show you a specific item, and then after seeing it, you ask them to show it again, and again, and again. Okay, sounds a bit weird, but in our context, it makes a bit sense. Let me explain. Each time you ask them to see the item, it is like repeating a step or an action. In K6, when we talk about iterations, we mean repeating the same set of actions or steps multiple times. For example, if we want to test how website behaves when a user logs in, we might repeat the login process many times. Each repetition is one iteration. So, in simple words, iterations in case 6 are about doing the same thing over and over to test how website or system handles repeated actions.